Mr. Zarik Dastur. Mr. Zarik Dastur is a partner of the firm of Sagar and Company, practicing in the field of dispute resolution, arbitration, and trust and competitive law. He is a triple gold medalist from Mumbai University. Mr. Dastur practice covers diverse areas of corporate, commercial, and regulatory dispute, competition law, and security law. He has represented clients in domestic and international commercial arbitration matters and has acted for clients on merger, acquisition, and other transactional matters. His practice involves representing his clients in court, in statutory tribunal, including Competition Commission of India, Security and Exchange Board of India, and Tariff Authority for major ports. Mr. Dastur has advised clients in everyday business operation, including issues relating to anti-competitive agreements and abuse of dominions by enterprise. He has appeared before Security Appellate Tribunal and SEBI. He has litigation experience before Supreme Court of India, various state high courts, and he is involved in many constitutional law matters. Mr. Dastur has written number of articles for various national publications on various corporate, commercial, and competitive law. In short, Mr. Zarik Dastur is one of the brightest and the shining lawyer of our community. At a very young age, he has got a standing of only 7 years, but he has outclassed many who are over 30 or 40 years of practice. Now I request Mr. Zarik to express his views on the subject.
Thank you very much, Mr. Atia, and good evening, everyone. It is perhaps appropriate that we've all gathered here in Mumbai, the present-day bastion of the Parsi-Irani Zoroastrians, a focal point where ideas and beliefs generated over a number of years have come to converge. If you go back in time, it was 642 AD in the fields of Nehavand in Iran, which saw a grand Zoroastrian nation pass away into the realms of history. The patriots of Sasanian Persia, in an attempt to save the noble religion, made the ultimate sacrifice. The patriots of Sasanian Persia have led by their example. However, despite the fact that they could not save their homeland and their religion, the hope for revival continued. First, with the last Persian emperor, Yazdegerd III, who vowed to continue the struggle against all odds, and thereafter, over centuries, in innumerable zealots and stalwarts who endured hardship in order to ensure that the flames of Zoroastrianism and the fire of Zoroastrianism continues to burn in their hearts and in their minds. We are the descendants of these Zoroastrians. The times after the fall of Sasanian Persia were harsh, with widespread persecution of all those who chose to remain loyal to the fold. Finally, in an attempt to save our noble religion, a section of Zoroastrians decided to migrate from Iran and reach India. These Zoroastrians were a drop in the vast sea of humanity that is India. Over a period of time, they came to be known as the Parsis. As we all know, the Parsis have contributed immensely to the political, social, and economic development of India. The Parsis are known today for their excellence and the prosperity the community enjoys. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the legacy that we have come to inherit. We have inherited a reputation. We have inherited a goodwill which has been nurtured for generations. We have inherited the respect of the world. And ladies and gentlemen, this legacy is not merely a privilege. It is a right, it is a duty, and it is a responsibility in its own sense. Ladies and gentlemen, today's generation of Parsi Irani Zoroastrians are the torchbearers who will take our community into the future. And when we talk about today's generation, it is no one else but you and your sons and your daughters and your brothers and your sisters and all of us put together individually and collectively. This is what we stand for. Perhaps the question is not whether today's Zoroastrians are as illustrious as their ancestors, but rather, what is it that we can adopt and learn from the innumerable, immeasurable achievements and the sacrifices of our ancestors? What are the values which have been passed on from generation after generation? What are the basic tenets and principles on which our religion of Zoroastrianism stands? How do we incorporate these values and principles into our daily lives? These are the questions which stand before us. These are the questions, the answer to which lies within each of us. It cannot be denied that the youth are the torchbearers for the future. The exuberance of youth is what instills the society with enthusiasm, energy, innovation, and initiative. It is therefore our duty to instill in these youth a sense of belonging, a sense of pride for our Zoroastrian religion and our Parsi race. That is our ordained duty. We are the descendants of the Achaemenian and Sasanian empires which ruled much of the known world for centuries together. We are the descendants of Parsis who have left an indelible impression on the history of this nation. We are the descendants of Parsis who have come to be associated with prosperity, integrity, and reputation. Is this all a coincidence? Or is it something far more important which we have inherited and which has become an inextricable element of the Parsi gene? This is the question before us. For the youth of today, the message is simple. Do not be afraid to dream. Do not be afraid to give wings to your passion. As the saying goes, that a man can change himself and master his own destiny is the conclusion of every mind which is awake to the power of the right thought. Form crystal clear goals, pursue them with conviction. There will be obstacles, there will be impediments, but these can be overcome through drive, determination, dedication, and conviction for a cause. This is what we stand for. Ladies and gentlemen, while we inherit a legacy from our ancestors, it is also important to understand and learn from the mistakes of our ancestors. A grand Zoroastrian Sasanian empire was overrun by a band of nomadic tribes simply because they would not stand together. The Sasanian society was riddled with internal corruption, internal strife, and internal rivalry. Let us stand together today. Let us learn from the mistakes of our ancestors. This is what we stand for. Each one of us can be instruments of positive change rather than being passive observers or worse still, indifferent to the issues affecting our community. Each one of us, ladies and gentlemen, whether young or old, man or woman, Indian or Iranian, Parsi or Irani, liberal or orthodox, conservative or reformist, each one of us can be instruments of change. Each one of us can play a pivotal role in the future of our community. Ladies and gentlemen, for any society to develop, for any community to develop and move ahead, it is important that all the segments, all sections, all classes of the community develop. Every segment of a society or a community has a role to play in itself. It is in this context that I say that every individual who has the conviction to pursue his dreams is as illustrious as anyone else. be it a morbid who devotes his life to the Aatishbairam and the fire temple, unconditional devotion and servitude to the fire, observing age-old traditions and principles. Ladies and gentlemen, this morbid is as illustrious as anyone else. Be it a housewife who has dedicated her life to her family, or be it a businessman who has dedicated his life to his business, be it a budding lawyer, a doctor, a professional who burns the midnight oil to ensure professional success, or be it a simple individual whose simple aim in life is to stand up on his own feet, earn an independent existence, and support himself and his family. Ladies and gentlemen, in my humble submission, each of these individuals is as illustrious as anyone else. What is important is that we stand together as a community, as one cohesive unit, as one cohesive force, and we continue to be illustrious as a community as a whole. That is what is important. There have been questions raised on the survival of our community, the Parsi race and the Zoroastrian religion. But ladies and gentlemen, history is testament to the fact that we as a people are survivors. We have survived the Arab onslaught which sought to obliterate the roots of our religion. We have survived innumerable years of persecution in Iran. We have survived the Mongol invasion which sought to destroy everything that we seek to protect. We have survived 1,000 years in India without compromising on our racial or religious identity. Ladies and gentlemen, we are survivors. And today, when we see so many of you like-minded individuals gathered together for such an occasion, it reaffirms a conviction in our survival. For all those who still harbor doubts in the survival of our religion, the answer lies in the remote heartlands of Yazd in Iran, where the sacred fires have been burning literally for more than 1,000 years. These fires will engulf, envelop, and obliterate any doubt or inhibition in this regard. These fires are the living manifestation of the Zoroastrian spirit. These fires signify that we as a people, the Parsis as a race, and Zoroastrianism as a religion shall not only survive, but shall continue to flourish and shine brighter than ever before. Thank you so much.
Zarek, first of all, I thank you for an inspiring lecture. It deals with every aspect of the matter. But I would like to go to the root.